Greetings, my fellow Christians. I am Pastor Brian Green of First Baptist Church of Galva, Illinois. And as the COVID crisis is coming to more or less an end, and all the protocols are lessening, and we no longer wear a mask in church, we're all attending again in person. We've been doing all the things to keep the virus away and to keep the germs away. And so now we've decided to come back fully and do communion the way we did before all the protocols came on. However, we've learned a few things, and I'd like to share that with you. And you might like to use it in your own church service. Us being who we are, we do communion once a month, and it's always the first Sunday of the month. So once again, happy Independence Day. If you get this fast enough, you'll be able to share it. All right, let me tell you what we were doing before. It was communion time. We were putting these little capsules, these little wafer on top, juice in the middle capsules into a basket back there, or we'd separate them on a table and people would come in, pick one up as they're coming in, and then we would do communion in the normal way. The great thing about them is that they're very portable. You can use them if you have to give communion to somebody at a hospital or something like that without having a whole communion kit like they used to have. You have a service out in a fairground or something on a Sunday morning or outdoors. Great item. But the limitation is that, number one, you're stuck to whatever the texture is of this wafer on top, whatever the juice tastes like inside. You may not like one or the other, but that's what you get. Also, when you're in the middle of trying to use these, they don't have separate opposite tabs. The tabs are on the same spot, so people are always fighting trying to get this thing open, and sometimes they accidentally open it and then they get the juice part and it splashes on them, or they'll sit there and fish around and try to get the wafer out. Finally they pull it out, right? So by that time we've already moved on to the second part, and then of course then you have to pop this part and hope it doesn't just splash all over you. So that's a limitation. And often these communion wafers have the texture of styrofoam and probably taste about the same. Now, what we want to do is go back to what we used to do, where we have a communion tray and we pass the tray around, and people take the juice out and serve themselves as it's time to do so. Doing it this way, you have to do a couple of things. You have to first pass down a plate that has the communion wafer on it, or the host, or whatever you call it, the bread portion. Then you're passing the tray down. People are reaching in there, taking one out. That takes time to dispense that. You give that part of the service, and then it's time to now distribute the grape juice. Well, that takes up time again. Organist has to play, all that goes on. All right, that was something that was changed with these. It did expedite things. We were able to get to the meat of the communion service without having to go through all the rigmarole. So how can we get something like this without having to give up the normal way we like to do communion? And what occurred to me as I was doing this so often and not liking it, that if we simply use 2 communion cups, that we could put the wafer of our choice in the bottom one, cap it with the second one, and then fill it up with the juice to where the level we want. And we could use whatever juice we want. So we use the better juice. We could still follow some protocols, put on a handy glove like this as the deacons are setting it up, let's say. They put a cup in, they drop the wafer in, then they put the second one on top, put it into the tray, pull up the juice squirter, and fill it up. And the good thing is you can fill it up and you can see the rim on the cup below, so it sort of gives you where to stop. Now, as this is being passed around and we have these loaded in a staggered way so that you don't even have to bump another one. It comes your way, you just reach down and you grab 2, you've got a free hand. Now you have 2 cups, one with the bread, one with the drink, Simply take them at their appropriate time. What bread do we use? Well, for this application, and I think this is great, are oyster crackers. I think they're the best. Why eat something mushy? Why spend time crunching up a bunch of matzo crackers or buying online specifically made nasty little squares or cubes? Oyster crackers, they taste great. So you pop them in, put the juice in, and everything is great. We're gonna give this a go this coming Sunday. I'm sure it's gonna be a hit. People say, well, still, you're gonna have to still touch this with your hand, one hand, as you pass it on. That's true. There's a couple of things we could do about that. One, you could pass out these little gloves to everybody, but everybody's got hand sanitizer these days. In fact, it's located in several places in the sanctuary here. We recently, in order to take an offering, got these offering baskets on poles. They don't really fit our communion holder, but if we stuck it on the opposite side, maybe put some rubber on there or something, we could hand it down the line the same way. So what we're going to do probably won't be that. We'll probably just pass them down. I think people are shaking hands now, and they're keeping pretty clean, and so we're not too worried about it. But anyway, that's what we're going to do. That's the new way to do it, to come back, to actually do communion the way communion has always been sort of done. But now we just sort of have a unique new way of passing out the two elements all at once, keeping them separate, and also making them a little better. So I hope you can use it. I hope you have a great 4th of July, great Lord's Day, and if you're doing communion on this 4th, then you're joining with us and people all over the world who are doing the same thing. So God bless you, and subscribe, and please pass this on to other people, because the more churches they hear about it, maybe they'll take it up. In fact, they could do it tomorrow, set it up tomorrow if they got this early enough. Thank you for watching.